Hello my lovelies, welcome back to my channel. This is your girl Angel from Simply Angel Tia. In this video we are working on a very fast project, very simple. This is going to be leg warmers, Christmas themed leg warmers, and this is something that I'm doing, as you can tell, immediately after I did the Christmas sweater in these granny stitch pattern. So I did this right away just so you guys can have something to go with the sweater. A lot of people are probably going to be doing the sweater either to gift it or just to wear it for yourself. So I decided to do something that matches it. So this is what we have here. By the way, for those of you who are not aware, so this is the sweater that I did. It's already on the channel, so make sure you go and check that out. And as you can see, it's pretty much literally the same thing as this, so this is going to be going along with this. Okay, and again, this is not to say that you have to do it in the Christmas colors. For those of you who want to do this exact same leg warmers here but using different colors, one solid color, whatever you want, of course that you can do. I just happen to want to do it as a set with the cardigan that I have. Okay, so this is what we're gonna be working on. The materials are exactly the same as the sweater, but of course, for those of you who are not doing the sweater and just want to do this one, I'm gonna go ahead and show you everything that I'm using. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, my lovelies, so before we get started with this project, I'm gonna show you all the materials that I'm using for it. So as you can see, the materials are not any different than the ones that we used for the sweater, but I'm gonna talk about it again in case you're only choosing to see this one and you haven't really seen the Christmas sweater. So I'm gonna just talk about it like I'm showing everything brand new. Okay, so I have the three colors here, which are the same colors as the Christmas sweater. So this is Azurite. It's 100% acrylic. It's a lightweight number 3. It's 50 grams, so 140 meters for this skein here. I call it red, but this company goes by color number, so 156 is the color number for this here. So you will see that I have a different yarn here, different brand. So this is by Hobby We Heart yarn. It is also 100% acrylic, lightweight number 3 as well. And this is 50 grams for this skein, or 150 meters for the skein. So as you can see, in terms of the length, a little bit different in these two, but everything is exactly the same. Recommended hook size for this is 3.5 to 4 millimeter crochet hook, and recommended hook size for this is 4 to 4.5 millimeter crochet hook. Okay, so a little bit different, but honestly it's exactly the same size, the same, it looks the exact same way. And then again, we go back to Azurite, which is the same as this here, but just a little bit of a different label. So this is Azurite by Timids. This is again 100% acrylic, lightweight number 3. This color number here is 0211, and recommended hook size is 3.5 to 4 millimeter crochet hook. Again, 50 grams for these, or 140 meters. And for the the color for this is 6, which is, in this case I call it green. So in the video you will hear me saying red, green, and off-white or cream. Those are the colors I'm gonna refer to them as opposed to the color numbers. Okay, so that's it for the yarn. I'm going to be using slightly bigger crochet hook size. I'm using a 5 millimeter crochet hook, or H8 US. It's just a preference, and it's the same size that I used for the sweater. I have a darning needle here to be able to join our sides. I have a scissors to cut my strands, and a tape measure in case you want to determine the size of your leg warmers. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Okay, my lovelies, so we're gonna get started here. I'm gonna start with the red color, which is the same order that I started the sweater with, the Christmas sweater with. So I started with the red, and then the green, the off-white, and then the red, green, off-white. So I'm gonna try to keep the order the same with the leg warmers as well. Okay, so the first thing that we're gonna do here is I'm just gonna do a slip knot, or actually a magic circle. So the same way that I would actually do the slip knot, except when I slip it off my thumb, I hold the hole open like this, and then I go right into the center, the circle here, while I'm holding it open with my middle finger and my thumb. And I'm gonna yarn over like this, and then I'm gonna start by doing a chain of 2. So 1, 2, and this chain of 2 here counts as a double crochet. Then I'm gonna do 2 double crochets into the magic circle. So for you, do the magic circle however you find it comfortable for you, but I do my magic circle like this. And then I work into this big gap here like that as my magic circle, okay? And as you can see here, I can make it bigger if I want to. I can make it smaller. I can literally just kind of work with this like this. This is why I like to do this, because if I run out of space in the middle, I could just make it bigger for me to work into. Okay, but always make sure you start with a little bit of a longer tail here so that it's not too short for you in case you need to maneuver in between into the circle here. Okay, so I have my 3 double crochets here, so 2 double crochets plus the chain 2, which counts as a double crochet. Okay, and then I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to do 3 more double crochets into the magic circle. So 1, 2, and 3. So we're still using the granny stitch just like we did the sweater. We're just gonna do the leg warmers a little bit different, okay? And then I'm gonna chain 2 or chain 1, and then do 3 more double crochets into the center. So 1, 2, and 3. So that makes 3 clusters of the 3 double crochets. So 1, 2, 3. We're gonna do 1 more. So I'll do a chain 1 and then 3 more double crochets into my magic circle. Okay, like this. And in terms of the color order, you can obviously do it in whatever order you prefer. I just happen to do it like this, and I did the sweater like this, so I want to keep it consistent. Okay, so I have my clusters, 3 clusters of double crochets here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So now I'm gonna just kind of put my hook down for a second here, and I'm gonna pull this magic circle to close it. So I'm just gonna pull the circle, the string like this to close it. I'm gonna leave it like that for now. Okay, I'm gonna go back and just continue where I stopped here. I'm gonna do a chain of 1, and then I can connect it to this side here, because now I should have a chain of 1 between all of the 3 double crochets clusters. Okay, so this is the same thing here. So I do my chain 1, and then on top of this chain 2, so 1, 2, I'm gonna go on top of that and do a slip stitch just like that. Okay, so now I have my first row completed, and it's very flat, it's very even like that. Okay, compared to when we were doing the hexagon, we couldn't do a circle that was flat like this. Okay, I'm gonna start by doing a chain of 2 again, and this counts as a double crochet. And then I'm gonna go into that chain 1 spot right to the very slight right of the chain 2. I'm gonna go into that circle or into that gap and do 2 more double crochets, as my chain 2 counts as the first double crochet, just like that. Okay, and then I am going to hop right over to the other side right here. So I'm skipping 1, 2, 3 stitches, and on this side here I'm gonna go ahead and do 3 double crochets, and make sure you're not pulling it too tight. Make sure you're working a little bit on the looser side. And also this is why I'm using a little bit of a bigger hook, because it helps with the stitches like this. Okay, so I do my 3 double crochets. I'm gonna chain 1, and then I'll do 3 more double crochets into the circle. Okay, so I'm now creating a corner. So this is going to be my first completed corner here, and each corner is gonna be 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets into the same gap like that. Okay, and then I'm gonna hop right into the next chain 1 gap. So I'm skipping these 3 double crochets here, and then I'm just gonna hop right into the next gap and complete 3 more double crochets like so. Okay, and then chain 1, and then 3 more double crochets into the same gap, because I'm creating a corner again like that. Okay, so that's my second completed corner here. And then I hop on to the next side here. So again, skipping 3 stitches, and in the chain 1 gap I do a corner, which is 3 double crochets, chain 1, and 3 double crochets into the same chain 1 gap. Okay, so that's my third completed corner like that. And then now this is my fourth corner here, but we already have 3 double crochets. And this is from the chain 2 that we started the row with, and then 2 more double crochets into that space. So I'm gonna just go right into that gap here and complete 3 more double crochets to complete my corner. So 2 and 3, like that. And because we want it to be a corner here, it's not just 6 double crochets together, I'm gonna chain 1 and then slip stitch on top of the chain 2, like that. So now this completes my second row with 4 corners. As you can see, I have 4 corners like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that is my second row. With the sweater, I did 4 rows in each color. I'm gonna do the same here with some of the colors, because with the leg warmers, the sizing, it's gonna be too big if I do all three colors at 4 rows each, especially because I also want to do the top end of the leg warmers and the bottom, which means I'm gonna change the stitch, so I have to be careful that it is not too long. Okay, but I will show you how I do mine. You can do yours however, because we also are different sizes, so you'll be able to do it in the size that you are. All right, so for row 3, I'm gonna chain 2, counts as a double crochet. I'm gonna go into that chain 1 gap and do 2 more double crochets, just like this. So that's my half of the corner. Then I'm gonna go into this gap here. I'm gonna complete 3 double crochets, and since it's not a corner, I'm not going to do a chain 1 and then 3 more double crochets. I'm just gonna simply do 3 double crochets in this gap here. It's not a stitch or anything, it's just a gap that is between here. And then now I go into the corner, so I'm gonna go right into that by skipping 3 stitches and then going into the corner to complete 3 double crochets, chain 1. Oops, I put lotion in my hands just before I started recording, and it's very slippery sometimes. So if you see that I'm a little bit it looked like I'm a little bit what do you call it, I'm a little bit messy with how I'm working. It's just because my hands and now my hook is a little bit slippery. So I do a corner here, which is 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets, and then the next gap here is not a corner, so I'm just gonna go into it and just do 3 double crochets. Clumsy is the word I was looking for. I seem a little bit clumsy, but it's because my hands are very slippery. And then I'm gonna go right into the corner now, which means I'm skipping these 3 stitches. And in the corner, I'm gonna complete a corner, which is 3 double crochets. Oopsie. Oh la la, clumsy much? 3, chain 1, and then 3 more into the gap, into the chain 1 gap. Okay, so that's my second completed corner here. This was the first. That one is only half done, which means we finish it as we finish the row. And it's very easy. It's a very easy project. I was inspired after I finished doing the sweater that I could probably do like matching leg warmers, and this is exactly why I'm doing this, so I'm happy about it. So I skip these 3 stitches here, and into the next I go in and complete 3 double crochets like that. And then now I'm in the corner, so I'm gonna go into the chain 1 gap and complete a corner. Okay, so very, 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 very easy. It works up extremely fast. And this is something that I think even beginners can do, because it is not very complicated. As long as you follow the instructions here, it's something that is very easy to do. Okay, and then I go into the next gap here, which is my final gap of this row that is not a corner, and complete 3 double crochets. Okay, voila. And then now I'm gonna finish the corner that I started at the beginning of the row. I'm gonna go into that chain 1 gap and do my 3 double crochets. Oopsie. 2, 3. Okay, chain 1, and then slip stitch on the chain, on top of the chain 2, like this. So that completes my 3rd row completely like this, okay? And as you work with your project, you can always just kind of wiggle or play with your corners like this to make sure they are kind of staying straight. And they should be anyways if you follow, unless you do something off somewhere, but they should always be straight. So this is my 3rd row. For my 4th row, I'm gonna do the exact same thing, except as you can see here, I'm gonna have 2 spaces that are non increase, or it's a non corner, and then I will have a corner, and then I will have 2 spaces that are just normal 3 double crochets in the clusters here, and then a corner. So I'm going to show you how to do this. We will change the color to the green. I will have you finish the 4 rows or however many rows you want to do in the green, and then I will have you build up the rest of the rows before we go to the next part of the project. But for now, let's do again chain 2, and then into that gap here, do your 2 more double crochets to make it 3 with the chain 2. Okay. And then so in this gap here, we're gonna go in and do 3 double crochets. I really apologize for being clumsy, guys. I would change the hook, but like this is my favorite hook, so I don't want to change it. I like it. And these are things that you can do. Honestly, these leg warmers are things you can do in one day, and you're ready to gift them for Christmas. With Christmas around the corner, you don't have to do them in the Christmas colors per se. You could always do them in different colors, but they're really good to gift for the holidays. And then we go into the corner and do the corner, which is 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets. Okay. So I'm gonna have you finish the rest of the row here. So I just did my corner here. I'm gonna do 3 double crochets here, 3 double crochets here, and then the corner, which is 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets into the corner, 3 double crochets, 3 double crochets, the corner, 3 double crochets, 3 double crochets, and then completing the corner. When you have reached to the part where you complete the corner here, come back to the video. I will show you how to change the color, and then we will talk about how we determine the sizes that we're looking to do. Okay, see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have completed my 4 rows here in the red, and as you can see, I did my chain 1 here to be able to finish the corner. So what I will do first is I will just put my hook in the top of that chain 2. I'm gonna hold it like this because we're gonna change the color here. So I'm gonna go ahead and just cut my yarn somewhere here, okay? And then I'm going to remove the red off of my finger here. And then I will bring in the green. So that's my next color, which is the same order that I said that I did for the sweater. And you don't have to do them in this order. You can do them in absolutely whatever order you want, or you could just do them in the same color, in which case then you would not even change the color. You will just continue to do the rows here, okay? But for those of you who are following the tutorial exactly as is, I change the colors after 4 rows here. So I have my green ready here to go. So I have not completed this slip stitch here, and so we actually change it using kind of like almost like a single crochet, because I go through those 2 loops like this. I bring the loop through and I go through the 2 loops like this. And then what I will do is I will just flip my work over like this, and I will do a knot of these 2 colors here. So the green and the red, I will just knot that a little bit. Don't do it too hard. Just knot it so that it's secure, so that you don't lose it there. And now that I have done that, I'm going to do a chain of 2 again. So we continue to just build our corner here. So I do chain 2, and then into that same stitch here, or the chain 1 spot, I'm gonna go ahead and do 2 more double crochets. So my chain 2 counts as a stitch. So that's my half of my corner here. We will finish 8 when we come around. And then in this gap here, and this gap here, and this gap here, I do clusters of 3 double crochets. Okay. So as you will see here, every time we increase a row, we go up one row, you increase these gaps here too that you're doing a non-corner stitches into. And then so just gonna increase and increase and increase every time you go to the next row. Instead of having, for example, 3 gaps before you hit a corner, you will have 4, and then you will have 5, and then you will have 6, and then it will just continue to kind of go up like that. So as you can see here, when we started the first row here, there's none of that. In the second row, because we're increasing on every row, there's none of it either. And then in the third row is where we have 1 gap before a corner. In the fourth row, we have 2 gaps before a corner. And now in the fifth row, we have 3 gaps before a corner, okay? Or 3 clusters of double crochet. So we go into the corner here and complete our corner. So 3 double crochets, chain 1, and then 3 double crochets, okay? So I'm not gonna show you how to do the rest of it here because it becomes very easy. I've done a sweater using this granny stitch, but in the square square like this as well, so you can check that out in the channel. So we're doing this pretty much almost the same as we did that. So I will just put this on the side so I can talk to you about the sizing a little bit. So as you can see, this is for a leg warmer. This here is going to be the width of our leg warmer. So just imagine that we're folding this work like this, and our leg is gonna go right in here. So this here becomes the width of your work, and this becomes the length, okay? And the way you determine the width is you take your tape measure and you put it around the biggest part of your calf. So your leg, however far up you want it to go, whatever the case is, you just put it around your calf like this, go around like this, and then whatever that number is. So let's say, assuming that it was 8, so let's say it's 8 around like this, which is very tiny, but we're talking in terms of hypotheticals here. So if that is the case, then you will need to do this length here to be 8 inches. And don't stretch it or anything like that. Just leave it as is, because most often times people will wear their leggings underneath the leg warmers or something like that. So you want the stretchiness of it to incorporate whatever you will wear underneath your leg warmers. So you will do and make sure that this length here is 8 inches. So for example, if it was to be 8 inches, I have 3.5 here already. So I would have to work this other length left here, okay? And then when that's done, you come back to the video and I will show you how to then work on the height, because the height of it, we're gonna end up having to increase on this side and this side to make it so that it's the length that we want. If it's not, if just this alone makes it so that it's the length that you want, then you don't do anything else after, but I will talk about that later. So for me personally, I'm gonna do 4 more rows of this, and then I will do about 3 rows in the white, okay, because that's gonna give me my measurement. I'm looking to do a total of like 14 inches, because the length for me from the base of my leg all the way to just a little bit before my knee, it's about 14 inches, okay? So I want to be able to do about 2 inches on each side of the borders of the leg warmers, which is going to be a different stitch. So which means then I only need to do about 10 inches for the length. So I need this length to be about 10 inches. Anyway, so I'll talk to you a little bit more about it when we have completed this. So I'm going to do 4 more rows in the green and then 3 rows in the white, and then I'm going to come back to the video, okay? I will see you guys then. Okay, my lovies, so I have completed, like you see here, the 4 rows in the green, and I did the 3 rows in the off-white here. Now, this is, for me, I stop here because I would like to see what the width of it is, because that is, the sizing of the width is more important than the sizing of the length. And so I stopped here so that when I fold my work like this, I want to make sure that this here fits the widest part of my calf. So like I told you earlier, I was going to do about the length of my calf, just so you know, because I haven't told you guys that yet. It is the size of what I have here. So I measured and I have about 9 inches for the widest part of my calf like this. So this is without me stretching it at all. I'm not stretching this at all. So this is if I just kind of measure my calf like this. This is what I have for my size. Okay, it's about 9 inches, maybe give and take a little bit over 9. Okay, so with that said, I'm not gonna do another row because if I put more rows then it becomes a little bit too loose, so I stopped it here. So what I'm gonna do, I have done my chain 1 and then I have kind of did I stopped here, so I'm gonna do a slip stitch. So I'm just gonna do a chain 1 and then pull it through like that. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna join it so then I can do the length of it, because as you can see, it's obviously not long enough. As you can see from here to here, I want it to be about 14 inches, and it's not gonna be 14 inches yet because we need to build up the length. So if I measure it like this, I have about 9.5 inches. Okay, so I would like it to be a little bit longer than this, so I'm going to increase the length on this side and on this side. But for the width, this is enough for me. This is where my leg will go through here, and it's enough. And then of course if you stretch this, it stretches, but we measure without stretching it first. So to be able to join our square here together, what I'm gonna do is this is gonna be the inside of my work. Okay, so this is gonna be going on the inside of my leg, and then this is going to be what shows on the outside of the project. So we're gonna fold it and be able to sew it like this, or to join it like this. Okay, what we can also do is just do it like this. So either of the 4 sides are exactly the same, so it doesn't matter where you do it. I just flipped it so that I can have my working joining yarn on this side here. Okay, so what I will do then is I will bring my darning needle, which I have here, and I'm gonna put that in here. Oh, first of all, what we will do is we will actually just do it on this side like this. So we're gonna go back like this, because I'm gonna work it by joining it on the wrong side like this. So I'm gonna join it on this side so that when we flip it to the good side, which is gonna be the outside of our project. So I'm gonna do it like this. And then I'm gonna put this in the darning needle, just like that. And then as you can see, so I'm gonna pretty much just kind of place it even like this. So this is the middle here, and then there's the middle on the other side. So I'm gonna go ahead and just go into this middle and the middle of the other side like this. And I'm gonna pull, and I'm gonna do one more into that same hole. I'm gonna put my yarn around the darning needle like that, and then pull. Okay, so this starts it like this. And then for the next stitches, I'm just going to go through both loops on this side here and both loops on the other side. And we're gonna go through that. I hope you can see it here. And I'm gonna go through these both loops here, both loops on the other side, go through. And at this point, don't pull it too hard. So just do it slightly, because if you pull it too hard, you're gonna wrinkle it up. So you want it to just be pulled to a very good and even intensity, not too hard and not too soft either. And we're gonna do this, and you're just gonna line your stitches, and you're gonna have exactly the same amount of stitches from here to here. And you're gonna do this all the way until you get to the other corner of your project on this side here. When you reach to here, come back to the video, and I'm gonna show you what to do to increase our length. And those of you who don't increase the length, I will show you what to do if you're not increasing the length. Okay, so I will see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have worked this joining of my project here across here. So on this side, as you can see, I went to the middle on this side here and the middle on the other side. I'm gonna do it just one more time so I can make these even more secure by doing loop around the darning needle like this. And as you can see, it came out. I don't have enough yarn. I have enough yarn, but for this, whatever I left out, I didn't leave too much of it. So I'm just gonna work with what I have here, so I don't have to add any more yarn to it. So we're gonna bring that through like this. And then I've already looped it on the other side. I'm just gonna put it like this, and we're gonna remove the darning needle. Okay, all right, so as you can see, I joined it like this. This is the line here where we joined it, but this is gonna end up being the inside of our work. So what I will do at this point is I will flip back my work to the good side, the right side, just like this. And that way, this is the other side of your work that's gonna have this line here like this, okay? Just like that. So this is so far what you have, or you obviously have to work the length here. So then what you will determine at this side, at this time, is how long you want your work to be. And so, like I said, again, I have about 9 inches here, about 9 or 10 inches of these from here to here. I'm gonna add a row of this stitch here in the red, which is gonna be the color that I finished my project with here. So what I will do is I will just bring in this, and I will do one more row here of these the granny stitch in the red, and then we will do the bordering of it, okay? So it is up to you. If you want, you can start the bordering of it here, but you don't have to. But you just have to determine your length. I want mine to be about 14 inches altogether from bottom to the top. And so I have 10 inches. I'm going to end up needing to do 4. So I'll do probably about an inch and a half on this side, an inch and a half there, or 2 and 2. And that way I have the length that I'm looking for. And you can obviously be flexible with it. It can be, you can be 10 and a half, 14 and a half, it can be 15. It's not a big deal. But I'm going to start by doing a slip knot here, just like this. And then I'm going to remove that. I'm going to go into the very first corner here of my project, of my work. And I can start on any side, so it's not a big deal at all. And I can either start here on the other side. So if I start here, for example, I'll just go into this gap right here. I'll just go into this gap here, bring my red yarn through like this. And then I'm going to do a chain of 2. And this chain of 2 will count as a double crochet, and then in that same gap I'm going to do 2 more double crochets to make it 3, because we're going to keep doing the granny stitch here. Okay, and then I am going to go ahead and go into this gap here, and I'm going to do 3 double crochets. So 1, 2, and 3. Then I'm going to go into the next gap here and do 3 double crochets. So as you can see, we're obviously doing it the same way that we have been doing it, except on here we're just doing the clusters of the double crochets around either the bottom or the top part of our leg warmer. At this point, it doesn't matter. It's going to be even or exactly the same on both, on each ends here. So you can either have this as the top or the bottom. And then we're just gonna do this all around here. So I'm gonna work these clusters of double crochets all around in these spaces here until I get back to here. So you should have your last one in this gap here, and then come back to the video. Okay, my lovelies, so I have worked this row of in the red here. And by the way, for those of you who are maybe questioning why I'm doing this row here in red as opposed to the white, the only difference here is if I did it in the white, it expands the width of my leg warmer here, which would make my leg warmer a little bit too loose. But if I add that 4th row here, it would make it so that it's not too wide. But also I do it in red just because I choose to. You could have finished this final row here in white, the same thing on this side before you do the red, but I just choose to do mine like this, okay? So it becomes a matter of preference as to why I choose to do this final row in red as opposed to the white. Anyway, so I have done my 3 double crochets here, so I'm gonna move on to the other side here, and on top of that chain 2 that we started the row with, I'm gonna slip stitch, okay? So this finishes this row here. And then I'm gonna do a row of double crochets. So I'm gonna start by doing a chain of 2, and then in this stitch here, so this double crochet goes with this chain 2 from the previous row, and then I'm gonna do one right here that will go with this double crochet here. So I'm gonna do a double crochet there, okay, let's do that. Let me just go here, so like that. And then the next double crochet will go on top of that double crochet, and then a double crochet will go right here in this stitch here, and then a double crochet will go in that stitch, and then in that stitch, and then I just do double crochets all around in every single stitch until you come back to here. So you will do your final double crochet here. So do that and then come back to the video. And then what I will do is I will show you what to do next, and then we'll move on from there, okay? So I will see you guys at the end of this row. Okay, my lovelies, so I have completed the row of double crochets here, and as you can see, I am back at the beginning of where we started the row. So I'm gonna go ahead and slip stitch on top of this chain 2 that we started the row with, just to finish this like this. And then I'm gonna now start my rows of the front post, back post double crochets. So to do that, I'm gonna do a chain of 2, and then in this next stitch here, I'm gonna go in and do a front post double crochet, and then in the next stitch here, I'm gonna go ahead and do a back post double crochet, and then a front post in the next, and then a back post in the next. And then I'm gonna alternate these all around, just like we did the double crochets, all the way until I come back to the beginning, which is right here. Okay, so for those of you who are even beginners, if you've done this stitch before, you know exactly what we're doing here. So yeah, we just do this until we get back to here, and then I will show you how to start the second row. And then at that point, you can decide how many rows to do. You can do I don't know, like 3, 4, maybe even 5 rows of the back post, front post double crochet, depending on how long you want your leg warmers to be. And by the way, another thing I forgot to mention as well, to be able to create this length here, let's say you want your the top of your legging here and the bottom to be a little bit shorter, but you need this length to be a little bit more longer. You could just increase by doing more of these row of the red, the first row of the red that we did here, which is to do more rows of that. So for example, if you needed it to be a little bit longer, you could have done 3 more rows of the granny stitch around before you go into doing the front post, back post double crochets, and that would have increased your length a little bit here as well. So all of these things are things that you can kind of work, you measure to get the size that you want. So for those of you who are asking how many rows I need to do for a small, a medium, all of these things are just irrelevant to me, because sometimes somebody who claims to be a medium is maybe sometimes really a small or a large, and it just, we're all different sizes. There's between a small and extra small, there's a number in there that somebody's gonna fit that doesn't fit in the other 2 sizes on each of the sides. So I always just do my projects to measure to fit. That way you kind of actually get accurate sizing, as opposed to me telling you do this many rows for small, do this many rows for a medium, and for a large and extra large, because it just doesn't, I find that it doesn't work very well like that. And I do get a lot of comments that say, oh, I did this number of rows for this size and it did not turn out to be the size that I wanted, and that's exactly why. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and do this, and when we go back to here, I'll come back to the video to show you how to start the second row, and then we will continue the rest of it. Okay, my lovelies, so I have completed this here. So I am back to where we started the project. So I just did my, or where we started the row, I just did my front post double crochet on that stitch here. So now I have my chain 2 here that I'm just gonna slip stitch on top of like this, and then that completes that row. And then I'm gonna do a chain of 2 again to start the second row of the front post, back post. And now here I'm just gonna follow the way the pattern falls. So for this one, the back post from the previous row is now facing towards me. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do a front post on that. And then the front post from the previous row is behind. So I'm gonna go back and do a back post double crochet. And then I'm gonna do a front post. So then I just follow the way the pattern kind of looks here. If it looks like it's away, like further from me, I do a back post. If it's closest to me, I do a front post. Okay, so I do this all the way around until I come back here. This is gonna be a front post here because it's facing me or it's closest to me. I'm gonna do a front post, front post double crochet here, and then slip stitch on top of the chain 2, and then start the next row. And for me, I'm probably gonna do, I need to get 2 inches of this here, about 1.5 to 2 inches of this. So I will probably do, let's say, 4 rows in the front post, back post, not including the double crochet that we started with it with, and then measure. And when I have that size, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna show you guys what to do, but I'm gonna show you guys what I will actually do. Let me repeat that. I'm gonna finish however many number of rows I need on here. I'm gonna disconnect. I'm gonna go and connect and do exactly the same thing we did on here on this other side here. So just to finish the project offline, it's gonna go faster. And then when I come back, I will have both sides completed and I will show you guys how that looks like. And then we can go ahead and start our second panel or our second leg, okay? But I'm betting you, I'm gonna do probably about 4 rows of the front post, back post double crochets, which will give me the number of inches I want. And then I'm just gonna disconnect the red yarn and do the exact same we did here on this side, and then I'll come back then. Okay, I will see you guys then. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and completed doing the bordering for my leg warmers here. So as you can see, I decided to do about 4 rows here right after my row of double crochet. I did 1, 2, 3, 4 rows of the front post, back post double crochet. So I have that here. So if you look at the sizing again, so just so you understand how we got the sizing, if I just put this right here like this to measure just the part that is the border here, I have about 2 inches, a tiny bit under 2 inches. And so it's the same as on that side. And then if I put the whole thing here to measure, I have about 13.5 inches. Okay, so this is how long my leg warmer is. I wanted it to be 14, but sometimes you just give and take, you get 1 or less or half an inch, but which is all good for me. So this is what I have here. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish my project here. So I have slip stitched here, or not slip stitch, but like just did a slip stitch, yes. So I'm gonna cut this here. Okay, I'm gonna put my yarn away. And I'm gonna go ahead and just do a slip stitch and then pull here. So that locks it here. And so as you can see, this is where I ended my project here. This is where I ended the other side. So we have the first one completed here. So all you will need to do is just go ahead and do your second one. And the second one will be done exactly the same. So just start like by doing this here and then do the exact same number of rows and then do the borders exactly the same. And when you have the two, come back and we'll finish off the video. In the meanwhile, I will go ahead and weave in all of my ends. So I do have this one here and this one here, and as well as the ones that are on the other side where we change the color, okay? The color, so we have all of these here. So weave everything in. When you come back, you will have 2 very nice and clean leg warmers that are completed, and I will do the same, okay? See you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and completed my 2 leg warmers, and as you can see here, both of them are done, and this is how they look. Very, very pretty. I'm so happy with the results of this, as you can see here. So I have decided this is how I'm gonna wear them, is that this part here is going to be right in front of my shin, so that it has this kind of like, it's gonna pretty much kind of look like this while they're on me, so that this is the front. And then if you look on the back of my calf, then you will see this pattern on the back. And of course, you can choose to have this as the front and then the back, because these you just have to flip them on your leg or just rotate them on your leg, and you will have whatever image that you want to have for the front and the back. But yeah, this is pretty much it here. I'm so happy and I'm very, very excited with them. I decided to do this like this just because I wanted something for Christmas, and these are actually for me. So I'm very excited. I will probably do a few more in different colors and maybe even one in a solid color. Often black leg warmers for me are just perfect. So I'll probably do one in a black color just so I can have one that I would wear a lot. Since these are very Christmassy, maybe I will not wear it every single month of the year. So I will do a few more of them in different colors so that I can kind of do them in different theme colors for the fall, for the summer, for the spring, that kind of stuff, okay? So yeah, this is pretty much it. I'm gonna end the video here. Thank you so much again for watching it to the end. Don't forget to watch the video for the sweater, the Christmas sweater, that is pretty much the exact same thing as this in terms of the colors and this type of stitch that we're using, the granny stitch. So I did the hexagon granny stitch sweater for Christmas, so please don't forget to watch that as well. And these are very fast to do, so you'll be able to get these done really quick, and you can give them to your loved ones for this Christmas. Okay, thank you so much again, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.